Dennis first thing here and say, I want you to clear up something for me.
Okay.
Because it's been out on Twitters, it's been out on Facebook and all this. Did I ever tell you that I was going to exonerate you?
No.
Okay. That was a bad choice of words, was it?
For me.
Okay.
What you did tell me in our conversation was that you felt that you had read everything, looked at everything, and that you felt like I had done nothing wrong.
I can't tell by what is in this conversation. You never said, I'm telling you, Duncan Baird, that I will bury you. You know, get out of the race, or I'm going to use this information to bury you. That's not what you said. And the way people have portrayed this, it has been portrayed that way, and it isn't. Yeah. Here's what I just want to tell you. I got it right here, right in front of me.
The transcript.
Here's what I'm going to tell you.
The spot in the transcript.
Because I listened to that tape about 8 times, because you got to listen to it at full volume to try to hear everything. Yeah. But the bottom line is this. I think what you did, you shouldn't have done. I think you should have just let it go and let him stew in his own juices.
Let him hang himself.
That's exactly right. That's what I would have done, all right?
Yeah.
That's just what I would have done.
Definitely.
Duncan Baird, and this pisses me off about Tolbert and some of the other guys. And I'm going to mention them because
say his
name?
Well,
I'm going to say it. I'm going to call out Vickery. I'm going to hit Vickery too, because he's been out there retweeting things. And here is the case: Baird is not without sin in this whole thing.
Of course not.
You don't go up to the top of the Capitol at almost 2:00 in the morning,
drunk,
evidently.
I'm sorry, we don't know.
Unsteady on your feet or whatever. And you're married, and there's 2 women there. I'm sorry. That leads, whether there was nothing going on or not, and I know, Jason, that you used about 2 sentences to just kind of blow that off.
Yeah.
The bottom line is, if you had never done that, none of this would have happened.
What even happened?
None of this would have happened. And there's other people that are in that. We're talking about Davy Carter. I mean, we're talking about the number one man over in the House, and we're talking about another gentleman, John Burris, who's tied to the Cotton campaign.
And I love Tom Cotton. We're just going to preface that we want him to win, but this makes your boss look really bad.
Yeah, that's what I'm. This is what I thought when I saw all this stuff coming out. You know, this is like trying to snatch, defeat from the jaws of victory. That's what this is. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is, and it. Okay, why don't we do this?
So I'm not throwing you all the way under the bus.
Just let Dennis.
But you may have to crawl when you leave, because I'm throwing your legs underneath the wheels.
And we like Dennis here. And I want to say this for the record. This is Princella Smith, and you can write your little punk blogs about me or whatever. I don't give a crap, because I'm voting for Dennis. I mean,
I'll vote for him as well.
I'm voting for Dennis. Dennis ran that circuit clerk's office in Saline County at that office very well. He's upstanding. He's a good person. He is a good man. He is a personal friend, but that's not even really it. I mean, he is the most qualified person running for that office. This was just, I think, kind of a hiccup. And Dennis, I love you. And I've always been honest with you. I'm going to just tell you, man, when somebody's being stupid like that, I don't know who your operatives were at the time telling you to do whatever, but they should have told you just let him hang himself.
Well,
that's just really the truth.
First of all, it doesn't matter who my operatives were. I'm ultimately the one that's responsible. I'm the one that's the candidate for the campaign.
Would you agree with me that you should have just let this be?
Just let it go, man. Just go on and say it, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's...
Hit the applause button. I'm clapping. Hit the applause button. Thank you. Thank you.
It really should have just been left alone, and if the media wanted to pick up with it, they would have run with it.
And they would have, is what the thing. I think they would have, because it's quite silly.
Well, it is, and let me say this. If I didn't care, I knew what the people had told me they were going to release all this. We could have sat back and been smiling and watched it all come down.
Yep.
And the DA thing that I did, and if you don't know what DA means...
You haven't listened to my show long enough.
Explain what it is.
Dumbass.
Oh,
I didn't want to say it.
Okay, you don't have to say it.
And I can't use salty language like that.
But I felt...
It's sea salt.
I felt an obligation. Yeah, all the pundits can say, "Oh yeah, you felt the real obligation," but there were families involved. There were other again, I shouldn't have done that. And when I use the word exonerate, that was my word, not yours, Dave. I just want to clear that up. I perceive that as exoneration because that was an honor to me to hear you say, I've listened to everything. I don't see what if nothing else, neutral, what the big deal is.
Yeah, well, I still don't see what the big deal is.
Well,
if you're going to let the other party off with a matador, ole, and just let him go by, then they can't say anything about what you've done here and why it was done.
And say it more clearly. If you're gonna write articles and give Duncan Baird and that whole crew a pass, including the Speaker of the freaking House doing juvenile behavior, then Dennis Milligan definitely should get a pass on this. Like, that's the truth.
Let me ask you a question.
Just squash it.
If this would have happened before a vote for the Speaker of the House, you think Davy Carter would have won up the well and said he wants to run for Speaker of the House?
I'm trying to use G-rated language. You know, my church members are listening. No. No, he wouldn't have gotten elected.
Whether we like it or not, in the atmosphere of the way things are now, you can't do anything like that without knowing there's going to be blowback.
I mean, and I'm, you know what, this is not, clown on Davy Carter hour, so I'm not going to. But, man, you should have known better than that, man. You're supposed to be a role model. You're supposed to be the example. You're the Speaker of the House, and you're clowning around like this at 2 o'clock in the morning. Like, you need to be apologizing. That's really what it is.
Oh, that's what I've said, and I still believe. I think Duncan Baird should apologize.
All of them should.
And then, can I just say this?
Their salaries are paid by taxpayers.
Let the competitiveness of the race begin again.
Right. Just let it.
Because I can think of at least one really big thing that I'd be going and looking at Baird about, because he was behind one of the most insidious, passages of business.
Option.
Yeah, the private option.
See, that's what we really need to be talking about, and that's really what to me, that's a big deal when I go to the polls. I'm not sure I can vote for anybody who voted for private option. And I know some of y'all are listening. They voted for it.
I don't have to. I don't think I have to vote for anybody.
I'm your friend, but y'all went up there and voted for the very thing that you campaigned against. Now that's what we should be talking about.
Yeah.
And if you want to act a monkey, on your own time, and see, even then, don't we pay for their salaries? Like, don't we pay them?
Are you trying to steal my shtick?
No, I'm just saying they're acting a monkey. It just happened to been caught on camera. They act a monkey all the time. You know what I mean? We just have to get this one.
Anyway, I just wanted to let you know. I'm not throwing you all the way under the bus, but I am kneecapping
we have to
you.
Be fair.
I felt like
Dave, let me throw something.
Go ahead, Joe.
All right. I just want to say that I have provided Scott with a thumb drive this afternoon, a flash drive, with the video footage of Duncan Baird, where he is leading the charge as the floor leader to pass Obamacare, a.k.a. the private option. I mean, it's Obamacare with another coat of paint.
Okay.
And I've given it to him. You are certainly welcome to post that on your website for the world to see.
Well, I'll be having Duncan on the show. That would have been my number one question for him.
Will he come on the show?
Well, I've put it out there on the show, and I'll say it again. When you're ready to come on, call Scott or I, and we'll put you on.
It's
There's
easy.
No problem. It's easy to get on here.
It's
all
not
right.
hard.
I've left you a voicemail on your phone.
He's not going to call.
You've yet to return my call.
He's not going to call back.
All right, but that's the bottom line. I've allowed the other side this thing, and I know he knows that if he comes in, I'm going to ask him the same question that I'm already talking about.
Dave is going to be fair. I will say this. I've seen Dave interview people that I know he doesn't agree with, and he will be fair.
Well,
so you don't have to be scared to come on here.
I'm looking at Dennis right now. Okay. Dennis, haven't I said before that I'm an equal opportunity torture? In other words, if somebody does something wrong, I don't care if you got a D or an R in front of your name, I'm going to light you on fire.
Well, not only that, but I really felt like the kid that, has got to go see the principal. And, it's not actually seeing the principal that gets you. It's that anticipation before you have to. Like when your daddy gets home, you're going to get your butt tore up.
Here's the key. You got to understand about me. I would never use a rusty knife. It would always be very sharp when I drew it across your throat.
And you've always been fair. Again, I think you call it the way it is. And
I try.
For me to disappoint you disappoints me greatly.
No.